We're approaching the end of this quarter study on the rebellion and redemption, and this week we're looking at the Church Militant.
Since we're talking about a cosmic war, title as such should be appropriate, why not? But what's the spirit and the meaning behind it?
Well, so far we have been going through history trying to follow the development of the controversy between God and Satan.
And yeah, we mentioned already about Paul and then Peter, and why not about John and the book of Revelation? If I have to admit, big portion of the imageries in my head illustrates the great controversy that I find in the book of Revelation. But what we see here is the lesson focusing and zeroing down on the 7 churches described one by one as participants in the cosmic war.
And as Adventists, we see these 7 churches as periods in the development of the church, with the last one pointing to our time. They all had struggles, and Jesus had a message for them. So, what is this adding to our study of the rebellion and redemption? Let's go through them and see. We start with the church at
Ephesus, the first and most glorious group of Christians. As we will see now and onward, the churches have strengths and weaknesses. So the strength was their strong resistance against false apostles and teachings, but the weakness came to be their cooling down love for God. Surprising for the first church, but history. Use your good past experience and build your future, Jesus advised them.
Initially, the church exploded. Lives have been powerfully transformed by an extraordinary experience with God. Persecutions, sufferings, nothing was able to take away their joy in God. Amazing times. But then it started formalizing, institutionalizing, and the first love was lost. What's next?
For Smyrna, Satan begins to penetrate the inner circles of believers, identifying the presence of a synagogue of Satan in the church. It grows to the point of dominion, described as having the throne of Satan in their midst of believers in the following church of Pergamum. Heresy and false teachings penetrate gradually in the already established, well-established movement.
When we lose the connection with God, it gets easy to get tricked into false teachings. If Adam and Eve got fooled, how about us? Challenging times, but they're encouragements for those that overcome. They will live, their hunger will be satisfied, and they will get a new name.
The times of Thyatira and Sardis are gloomy. The damage is already done, and it's all about holding fast and repentance. Spiritually, they're dead. In spite of all, hope, future, and change is just behind the corner, and God is supporting them with His promises.
Fortunately, there are times and circumstances when there is not much we can do but hold fast and have a humble spirit in repentance.
Finally, light shines bright in the Church of Philadelphia. After ages and 4 churches struggling with the members of the synagogue of Satan, change brings justice and cleansing, thanks to their faith and cooperation with God.
They are commanded of being faithful. They have persevered and stood up for the truth. They will be a pillar in the temple of God.
And we get to the last church, Laodicea. We strongly believe this is concerning our time. But the lesson points out that there is a progression in the separation of man from God with the advancement of the church sequence from the 1st to the 7th. This is very sad news. Therefore, probably this is exactly the place in the lesson where I have to pause, stop, and look at myself. Try to see things as they are, and then approach God for a close, intimate dinner like father and son and father and daughter.
How come that we can develop this arrogance into thinking that we have become wealthy and have need of nothing? That we have the truth, we know the right way to worship, the right way to live and behave. How can we lose consciousness that we are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked? It's a controversy. And yes, Jesus is at the door and knocks. He wants to have a dinner with us. He who has ear, let him hear.
So, where is all this leading us? We will conclude our thoughts on the topic next week.